This is WallsMan105 from Style Gaming, here to give you the best budget Monarch deck of 2016. I've been testing this deck online for several months now, and I've found that if you're building straight from the 3 structure decks, -1 card, this is a very good deck. It's very solid. It's not competitive, but it will defeat most casual decks, and it is extremely fun to play, and it is extremely irritating to play against, which is always a plus. I'm not going to go into the monster effects right now. I'm mainly going to focus on giving you the deck list, so let's get right into it. Alright, starting off with 3 Aether the Heavenly Monarchs. Self-explanatory. Very good. Basically a return and an escalation in the same breath. Alright, Erebus, the Underworld Monarch, sorry, his name has changed. Then we have 4 slots for basic Monarchs. Now, you can fill this however you want out of the Monarchs that came in the deck. I prefer 2 Caius and 2 Thestalos in the main. It's a good balance. You've got a little bit of burn. You can get rid of most cards that you need to get rid of and beat most decks. That'll do it on Monarchs. Moving into the fodder, we have 3 Idea the Heavenly Squire, of course, and 3 Eidos the Underworld Squire. After that, we have 2 slots for vassals that are not squires. I prefer running 1 of each, Landrobe and Mithra. However, you can run 2 Mithra, 2 Landrobe, or you could even run 2 Lucius if you don't like having to rely on your opponent at all. Alright, that'll be it for monsters. Let's move into the spells. 3 Pantheism of the Monarchs. New draw power engine of the deck. It's fantastic. I love it. 3 Tenacity. Searching out your spells is always good. Beware that you can only use it once per turn. 3 Domain of the True Monarchs. Always nice. Moving into 3 March of the Monarchs, just in case you weren't putting enough troll in your control. Then 3 the Monarch Stormforth. Only 1 return, because you're not going to need an additional one. And then 1 Reinforcement of the Army. If you can't get this at all, which should be really weird, see if you can get instead this. Reinforced Truth. Special summon 1 level 2 or lower warrior type monster from your deck. You cannot conduct your battle phase. During the turn you activate this card. Activate during your opponent's turn and you get out Eidos and Idea. Well, not in that order though. Alright, traps, there's not many. 3 the Prime Monarch. Again, self-explanatory, very good. And then 1 Escalation of the Monarchs. Like I said, Aether is basically a return and an escalation put together. And then finally a Monarch's Erupt. One of my favorite cards, archetypic specific, skill drain. It's fantastic. Beware they still have hand and graveyard effects. Alright, so let's move into the extra deck. Okay, moving on to the side deck. Like I said, all the other Monarchs that you think you're going to need. Personally, I only think you're going to need Mobius, Thestalos, or Caius. If you were running up against Exodia, I guess you could put in the extra Thestalos. If you're running up against Pendulum decks, Mobius is fantastic. If you're running up against a Dark Attribute-based deck, Caius is going to burn them alive with lightning, and that's fun. Alright, next comes up the other vassals. Like I said, I prefer to run 1 each of Landrobe and Mithra, and then another 1 of each on the side in case, my opponent swarms and I don't have room for a token, or in case they don't use many monsters and there's nothing to flip face down. If you'd like, you could also try running 2 Lucius the Shadow Vassal in here, because he relies on your graveyard, not your opponent's field. However, he doesn't have as many benefits. Alright, finally, I'm going to close that out with the Monarch's Erupt. Again, one of my favorite cards. If your opponent uses a lot of monsters, this is fun because they'll be so frustrated. Alright. And that'll do it for the best budget Monarch deck of 2016. This has been WallsMan105, and I will leave you until next week when I will have my Monarch strategy guide up and out. See